Defenders! I knew you'd come. Yep, finally, I can now finally talk about the Marvel miniseries Netflix series Defenders, or The Defenders. This is the show that is the culmination of the 2 seasons of Daredevil, the season of Luke Cage, the season of Jessica Jones, and the season of Iron Fist. And this is about them coming together to save New York from the evil forces of the Hand. All the while, we got Sigourney Weaver playing the main villain. And, spoiler, she never uses a gun. Yeah, here's the thing. For some reason, I don't recall seeing anyone use a gun in the Hand organization. Was that supposed to be a joke? Like, okay, yeah, there was the incident with the guns with Luke Cage, but after that, I don't really recall anyone else who used guns after that. I was like, is this some sort of joke, like an in-joke, like Sigourney Weaver's anti-gun belief? So anyways, this is the story that how these 4 heroes finally come together to take on the Hand. Except all of them have angst issues. Jessica Jones because of her past with Kilgrave, Luke Cage because of the experiments done to him, Daredevil because it's Daredevil, and Iron Fist because my parents are dead. Yeah, out of all of them, they have the weakest. Jessica Jones was experimented on. Luke Cage was experimented on. Daredevil lost his father, had to find the body, blinded, had basically an abusive kind of relationship, mentorship with Stick. Yeah. Iron Fist, Danny Rad, yeah. I get he has a lot of problems, I get that. But also, I did love that they managed to make this feel more like an epic event, not with just the 4 heroes, but we also get basically most of all the characters coming in. Like, not only do we have the 4, we have Malcolm, we have Foggy Nelson, we have Colleen Wing, who is a star in this, Misty Knight, Bokuto, Trish Walker, Karen Page, Elektra Nachios. And I refuse to acknowledge that's actually her name for a variety of reasons. Claire Temple, Stick, Alexandra Raid, aka Sigourney Weaver, and we also get recurring members, Madame Gao, Sawadi, I pronounced that wrong most likely. And, yeah, and here's the thing I had a problem with, one thing. Why the fuck did Madame Gao have the Force? No, seriously, why does she have the Force? I mean, we never saw her use that before. When did she get the Force? Is she secretly from the Star Wars universe and they brought her over because it's awesome? Okay, yes, I don't read the comics, so I don't know how she has the Force. And someone might say, well, maybe because since they were all from Kung Lao at one point and then they were kicked out because of certain incidents that led to their secret of immortality, maybe that was the reason. But if that was the case, that still bugs me because we don't see the other members of the Hand use the Force. Yeah, I know they'll probably say it's something else, but it's the Force. It's basically Force push most of the time. But yeah. Also, Danny Rad's character, he's improved much more. Like, he's the one guy trying to say, hey, let's all team up and whatnot. And meanwhile, the other 3 are like, no, I am too much of a brooding person right now because of our tragic pasts. But I do love the interactions between them. Like, they all have a checkered past, but Danny Rad has the least. The one thing that kind of annoyed me was when Luke Cage and Danny Rad, after their first fight against each other, they had this conversation with Rosanne Dawson's character Claire and Colleen Wing in the dojo. Yeah, I did not like that conversation. I'm like, first it was a little funny with the whole, he started it. He started it. It's what Luke Cage said next to Danny Rand afterwards, say that he knows when he sees someone who's privileged, and I was like, oh dear God, they did not just do that. So, okay, let's really think about this. Luke, I know your life was fucked up, and I know the SJWs are writing your character right now for this second, but because it's justified, because blacks and whites, and we gotta continue the fight, even though this, I'm not going into the racist stuff going on in the world, but that's a different matter. But yeah, I'm not stressed that Danny Rand, if he actually went into greater detail, he would have taken back that comment if he went ahead and said, let's see, I lost my parents in a horrible plane crash. I suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. And also, I was raised by monks who were basically like the Jedi, but much more abusive, and they don't outlaw their practices such as torturing a Padawan. I was forced to fight a dragon. Well, they explained that later on in the miniseries. But yeah, and also, when I returned to civilization, I was almost sent to a mental institution. One of my closest friends are now complete assholes, and someone that I also looked up to tried to kill me. Let's see. Also, my unknowingly friend of the brother of one of them is plotting to kill me. Yeah, I'll get back to that part in a little bit. Yeah, but here's the thing. There were 3 episodes I really liked. Episode 3, when they all come together in this epic hallway fight. Episode 4 is when, they don't really do that much action. They actually just sit in this restaurant and talk. I actually like that. And it was the final episode where it leads to the big climactic battles. Also, mass terrorism. Yeah. So, yeah, and the hand, they're stopped, but yeah. Steak, yeah, he's dead. Yeah, he gets killed off when he tries to propose to kill Danny Rand, because that makes sense. Also, turns out their secret to immortality involves dragon bone, which was used to resurrect Electra Nachios. And Alexandra, aka Sigourney Weaver, is trying to keep the hand together and be this spread out hand instead of being incredibly divided because they operate in fingers. The best way to kill them is with decapitation, apparently. So, yeah. And Electra, okay, if I'm really gonna keep calling her by her name, I have to say it. Electric Nachos. There, I said it. I had to say it. I couldn't help but want to say it. So, yeah, and there was actually some humor in here when Matt Murdock, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage go out and basically break the law after blowing up a police station and breaking out, trying to basically do a, quote, kidnapping segment. They decide to all take a train. So, we have wanted criminals! Okay, let's take the train. I'm like, granted, it is public transportation, and there is an APB on us, but we're kind of in a desperate situation right now. And all this whole mass killing, this whole issues that was going on, all this was because they want to get the dragon bones underneath New York that basically keeps the foundation stable and to acquire more immortality. All this mass killing was for immortality. I would like to point out that the sun will eventually burn out in the Marvel Universe, technically, and the sun will engulf everything in its path when it comes a fiery red star, leaving everything in destructive chaos, providing nothing blows up the world. With Thanos! But yeah. And here's the thing that bugs me also. Okay, they destroy Alexandra's office building after... they go ahead and do this. They blow up the office building, and the police somehow covered it all up. How do you cover something that up? That's at least they go ahead and say that acknowledge it did happen, but like it wasn't a mass public event. Like no one was around to see what exactly happened. At least that makes more sense than as opposed to Transformers 3 and how Chicago was apparently never how the Battle of Chicago never happened. But that's a completely different matter. One that I refuse to even watch. And Colleen Wing gets her moments when she finally defeats her evil Bakuto mentor. And also, yeah, here's the thing. Alexandra, she does this awesome speech, and she actually makes one quote that actually makes the most sense in the world. That in war, and I might be getting this wrong in the quote, in war, both sides have to believe they're the good guys. And I was like, there, you just summed up the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe to an extent. You summed up how the modern era works, where once upon a time there were good guys and there were bad guys. Now they're all, all this area of gray. Some of the good people are assholes, and some of the bad people have righteous reasons. Okay, granted, there are still good and evil in the world to a small extent, but it's not as predominant as it was back in the old days when we had Nazism running amok. But moving on. Also, Misty Knight, yeah, she lost her arm, so she's gonna get a robotic arm apparently. Daredevil probably was killed, but then it turns out that he's not dead. Yeah, here's the thing about that. I'm calling BS on how he survived. They have to explain how on earth he survived in season 3 of Daredevil, because I just don't buy it. No, you should be dead. You should have been killed when the rocks came onto you. So, yeah. And Foggy Nelson and Karen Page, okay, their role in the show was, Matt Murdock, stop being Daredevil! And I was like, okay, don't you think doing that will probably push him to a point where if you make a hypocritical statement that will result in him going back to me, Daredevil? Oh, great, Foggy Nelson did it. Yeah, and here's the thing. I initially thought with all of their friends, with all the 4 characters as friends in this police station, besides Hogarth for a variety of reasons, I was expecting a big assault on the police station. That actually would have been freaking awesome. That would have been where Misty Knight loses her arm, Colleen Wing and Claire would go with try and follow up with the Defenders, wondering what the hell's going on. And I did love that they were giving tension to the whole Matt Murdock might be Daredevil thing. Yeah. But Alexandra, yeah, she doesn't live to see the entire end of the show. She dies in the 6th episode when there's only 2 episodes left. Yeah, I was like, why did you kill her off again? Well, apparently one of the people on the show said that it was to give a jolt and stop the predictability thing. Okay, I get that, and they wanted to continue Elektra's storyline. I really do get that. But I actually thought this character was interesting. More so than Electric Nachos. So, yeah. And here's the thing about Alexandra. She is never in the comics. She was an original character specifically created for the universe of the MCU. Okay, you got me interested in this new character, and let's kill her off after 6 episodes. Yeah, and the other thing that really confused me was, yeah, the whole she's dying from this unknown disease where her organs are failing. I thought that was actually going to serve as a big plot. Like she only fights like once or twice, I think. One was for Stick, I do know that. I don't know if she did in episode 4. But I was thinking, would that have had a role in like further worsening her organs for every hit she took? Wouldn't that made it more interesting? That's why she doesn't fight? Yeah. That would have been interesting, and yeah, and the fact that all 4 of them were from Kunlun once upon a time, and then were out after some tension, what's happening, and the whole secrets of immortality. Also, Bakuto is dead. The other 2 members who don't give cares are buried or dead. Madame Gao believes it was the end of the hand after this. So, yeah, here's the thing about that. I don't think Madame Gao is dead. Yet. Why do I say she's not dead? Well, it's what happened in Iron Fist at the end of the season. She is aware of what's going to happen to Iron Fist. He's going to be threatened with assassination by 2 people he believed he could trust. I thought for sure that was gonna have her involved in some way. Like, either she's gonna help Danny Rand, or she's just gonna let it happen. Like, there had to have been a reason why she was in that shot, other than to establish, yeah, she broke out, even though, really, after you establish that she has the Force, that basically is a no-brainer. Oh, and, yeah, Misty Knight and Colleen Wing, yeah, I actually want to see them have their own shows together. I would like to see them have their own show. Like, they do form their own group, their own agency, I think, in the comics. From what I've gathered, I've been reading off of Wikipedia for that, just to get a basic understanding of what the hell's going on with all these characters and who they are in order to get a better understanding of them. So, yeah, I want them to have their own show. They're really good characters. Colleen Wing's the best. Yeah. So, yeah, okay, so at the end of the show, Jessica Jones reopens her private investigation agency, leading into season 2. Luke Cage resumes his street patrols in Harlem, and Danny Rand begins to assume hero patrol duties in Hell's Kitchen in honor of Daredevil. That's gonna last about a season, I believe. And yeah, it was a good season. There was some problems here or there, but this was a good season, and it felt like it was a culmination of all these seasons that were all these shows, premieres, and second seasons. And I actually do hope we get a second season. Though, here's the thing I keep hoping for Infinity War. I'm not saying they need to have a huge, big role. They don't need that. They could instead do this. Since the first invasion appears to begin in New York, why not just go ahead, show a scene of them fighting the armies of Thanos? That would be friggin' awesome! Like, Phil Coulson's coming back in Captain Marvel next year, which takes place in the 1980s or 90s, I believe. But yeah, just give them a cameo shot. Have them let us see them fighting in separate locations to really give the vibe that this is the biggest culmination of the MCU's hard work. Like, I'm reading the Dark Phoenix Saga comics, and I haven't finished yet, but when the Dark Phoenix emerges, we see cameo shots of certain characters from the Marvel Universe who are not in relation with the X-Men in any way possible at this point. They're just there detecting the presence of the Dark Phoenix, Doctor Strange, the Silver Surfer, Spider-Man. Just do something like that. Show that they're fighting. They're fighting the armies of Thanos. I would love to see that. I don't think they're going to do it, but one can dream. So, yeah, I do hope there's a second season and they start building things up more there. And hopefully we get some new threat coming in. I don't know if it's going to be the Kingpin, Wilson Fisk. Yeah, he didn't show up either. And also, why wasn't the Punisher in this show? I was honestly expecting the Punisher to show up. Yeah, they made him show up in Daredevil Season 2. Why wasn't he doing anything in this season? Like, I'm going to watch the Punisher Season 1 then soon, because that's next on the list, and then I'll finally watch Jessica Jones Season 2. But yeah, I was wondering, wait, where's the Punisher in all this? I thought he was going to have something to do in this show. But it appears that's not going to be the case. Well, it wasn't, but yeah, the Marvel's The Defender Season 1 miniseries on Netflix was awesome. The fight scenes were great, a lot more improved. Danny Rad's character was given more redemption, and there was one thing I really did not address in my Iron Fist video, I believe. Remember how he kept saying, "I am the immortal Iron Fist, sworn enemy of the hand, defender of Kung Lao," or whatever in that phrasing. Yeah, you want to know how I felt like they could have redeemed that repetitive wording sentence? I was like, why not have Madame Gao, who apparently knows everything? Yeah, I know she's immortal still. Why not she just say, when you say that, do you mean it to introduce yourself, or are you just telling yourself that? As if to say, yeah, Danny Rand feels guilty. He feels immense guilt that he left, and he's using that wording every chance he can to remind himself that that's who he was, that's what he was living like, as a way to get rid of the guilt he has. But they never did that. That would have added some layer to it. And actually made the whole "I am the immortal Iron Fist" quote more justified. As if reminding himself like he's still in the state of denial. So, those were my thoughts on the Marvel's The Defender Season 1. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to for more.